And welcome to the No Name Yet podcast. That is the podcast with no name. And on tonight's show is the other guy on the show, Mo.
Everybody just got to decide what name they're going to use with me, but what's up?
How are you doing?
I'm actually doing really well. The weather is better, but not where I want it to be. So, New York for you, right?
That's right. We're not in May yet.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was only a few years ago that I went down to see the Mets play the first week of May, and it snowed on our heads.
Really?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
I guess it is now. It wasn't then.
It was
It
cold
was
out of your ass, huh?
it was one of
Had
the
a
worst trips
t-shirts,
I ever took.
had
Yeah.
shorts on and everything, huh?
I went
Wow.
with the Scotia Glenville Democrats on a Wade
You know
tour
what was great?
bus.
I would have loved to be there because you already know I wear hoodies and everything because I'm always
Mhm.
cold. So I would have been naturally prepared while all of you were just
No, you would have froze. You would have frozen
it
because
was
I
that
was
bad,
freezing.
huh?
I was prepared and I was freezing. We were sitting on the Pepsi porch, and
Okay.
leave it to the Democrats to nickel and dime. So we were on the Pepsi porch. I'm like, oh, the Pepsi porch, sounded special until you get there. And what Pepsi porch translates to in City Field is the farthest away you can be from home plate. So we were snowed on. The Mets played the worst game I ever saw them play live. I
Yeah.
couldn't really even see it. They looked like, you know, like T-ball players because they were so far away. And
Wow.
uh and I was on a bus with a bunch of Democrats. And
Yeah.
um
Become a Republican and spend all your money. You would have
well,
got
I'm
better
not
seats.
anything now. I'm a registered independent. I don't know if I
Got to do that
foresee
now.
myself aligning with a party ever again, but we'll see what happens. We'll
Hmm.
see who's in the primaries. I am tempted to re-register as a Democrat to vote for Robert Kennedy. Um, I am kind of tempted to register Republican to participate in their primary election. Since in the state of New York, you can't vote for who you want. The parties have convinced judges that it's a matter of their free speech that people have to register to their party to participate in their um, in their primary, which doesn't make any sense. They're private corporations running public elections, right?
Nah, not at all. So wait, are we getting some new up runners for the parties now? Because you said Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
has announced as a candidate. Marianne Williamson has announced as a candidate to run against Joe Biden.
Okay.
And so far with the Republicans, Trump has announced, Nikki Haley has announced. I don't know if Mike Pompeo has announced or not, but
Hmm.
he said he wants to run, I think. And then DeSantis, I don't think has announced, but may be
But
running.
he looks like, yeah, he looks like he's doing tours. And a lot of people have pointed out that you don't do tours unless you're running.
Right, right. Yeah, I
Hmm.
actually I actually considered him as a possibility, but he already lost my vote.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Once he started on the whole, woke thing, it was like, nope, nope, nope. He basically became his own version of woke. And I was like, I'm not down for it.
Yeah. I don't like what he's doing as far as like the anti-woke legislation and stuff like that. Uh but what was the deciding factor for me was he had made comments that he might, run on an anti-war agenda. I guess he was taken to task and walked it back and started spouting uh, talking points that the Warhawks in Washington stopped repeating about a year ago about the
Mm,
Ukraine war. So I'm like, well, he obviously does not have a backbone
no.
that he can do a 180 like that and not even do it well, you know.
Mm.
Um,
One of my things for him was the when he took out the books out of schools, and
mm-hmm.
on an education level, right now there's a lot of teachers that are suffering, right? Due to the violence and support, poor support, and they just don't have access. They don't have a strong library right now, basically empty because they're creating this whole system to check for wokeness.
Oh,
So
okay.
any and every book is pretty much gone before they even allow any books to come back to schools and be public schools and be used. So yeah, that type of stress on educators is I'm just not excited for. I'm not happy for.
Yeah.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah,
I'm tired of seeing
there's
people.
nobody to vote for because
Yeah,
the federal Democrats are trying to pass laws where they can censor people more. I mean, they've been caught. The Twitter files is documented the censorship they've already done and
yeah.
through social media platforms. So both parties are censoring. Our this republic, this Democratic Republic, is has gone down the tubes. I don't think there's any turning back at this point. So every
Hmm.
day that we can speak freely, I guess we should be grateful for it.
Yeah.
But if anybody believes that any of the federal politicians are defending democracy, you really need to do some soul searching and a little bit more research
And stop watching
because
mainstream.
you're being duped. You're being duped.
Real hard. Real.
Yeah. So we beginning the episode the same way with checking out what I'm drinking during the episode.
Here he goes.
And
I thought it
so what I
was.
have here is another sparkling natural mineral water from a once prosperous nation that now is just a mere vassal of the United States. And now here's a country that was very industrious, and its industry is just going down the toilet because it can barely provide enough electricity and gas because the United States blew up its pipeline. So from the once great nation of Germany,
Oh God.
now just kind of a placeholder on the map of Europe, we have, and I'm not sure how to say this, but I'm going to say either Drollsteiner or Hrolsteiner. Yay! So here we go. Hrolsteiner, sparkling, natural, mineral water, the highest mineral content, perfectly balanced taste, and a beautiful glass bottle, simple label. So let's give this a little try. And
When the bombs
okay,
fall, we know where Pastor's gonna be at.
okay, that's kind of interesting the way that came off. All right,
Oh, did
so
Germany do something wrong with their labels, with their high tech behinds?
no, it just felt like the pressure of the gases may have pushed up the top. So here we go. Oh, the bubbles are small.
Wow.
This looks like
People, you all really want to see this like me, don't you? This this is fantastic. You just choke on it.
that's nice. Well,
Germany did a great job.
yeah, well, wherever they pumped this out of did a nice job. So I guess we could credit the Germans because I guess they need as much hope as possible.
I mean, they'll be all right. They're clever. They're a clever country.
Well, it was
Very
a warm
clever.
winter, so no, they didn't freeze this winter, but
That's
If
Yeah.
it's a hard winter next winter, I think people are saying that they're going to be in a lot of trouble. But
Mm.
what can you
I
do?
pray for them. I don't wish nothing bad on
We'll pray
anybody.
for them. Yeah, we don't want anybody to freeze.
Yeah, Pastor wants his sparkling water.
Yeah, they'll have to start eating instant bratwurst.
Wow.
So, uh, well, I guess where we're going next is I just want to announce I'm going to be taking a 2 week break. Next week, we'll be playing an episode of church videos. I think it was maybe from a couple years ago.
Oh God.
And Mo, Gritty, and Justin were on that episode where we watched funny church videos.
Good
And
Lord.
then the next week, I may try to do a taste test or something, post something. But the reason why I'm taking this 2 week break is that next week, May 7th, will be my last Sunday as pastor of St. James African Methodist Episcopal Church. And it will be also the last day that I will be an ordained itinerant elder within the AME Church also.
He is
I've
escaping the
resigned.
Negroes.
I've resigned as pastor and I'm handing in my ordination. And I starting May 8th, I have Episcopal protection with the Catholic Apostolic Church of North America. I'll be ordained a deacon on May 21st, and then sometime in November, I will be ordained a priest. And
Oh,
for those, the reason why I'm leaving the AME Church is for a number of reasons, including some declining uh, health numbers from physical to physical, and the traveling back and forth between Schenectady and Utica has been is gotten to the point where it's really tiring me out. That's 70 miles every weekend back and forth, a total of 140 miles. And but the grease that aided me in coming to my decision was that the AME Church is currently going through two scandals. One of which is that there are $90 million missing from the retirement system, and our former bishop, Bishop Gregory Ingram, uh, took $600,000 worth of payments from a land developer who was not following through with contracts to do work on 5 properties within the New York annual conference. And I came to a point where I felt that the leadership of the AME Church was not serious about its fiduciary responsibility, and I couldn't, in good conscience, uh, ask people to continue to give to an organization that doesn't take its responsibilities seriously. So, for those people who are staying in the AME Church, which I do view as a significant and important American institution, um, those that have expressed the desire to make changes from within, I ask the Lord, our Savior, to empower them to make those changes and to return a potentially great organization to greatness. But I cannot be a part of it.
I think you just had a bunch of liberal people just going, $90 million. Hold on, let me start going to church. You conservatives are like, Yeah, we can make some real good investments over here. I didn't know the blacks had that much money to take. Oh man, there's some smart ones out here. Oh, you just set us up. Well, I will not be there. My ties will not be going to this organization. So for any further crimes that may happen, I will not be a part because they didn't want to split seats with me. So I'm out.
They didn't want to what?
They didn't want to play split seats with me. Split the money up.
Oh,
Let it trickle down to me.
okay. All right.
Yeah, so I'm out. If I don't get a dollar, you can't get a dollar. Get out of here.
Oh, and the one thing that I would like to say to the audience is that I firmly believe that no matter what you believe, that if you're now, I don't want to use this term because I don't know a lot about the foundation of it, but humanism.
Hmm.
I think that humanism is practiced by people who may not subscribe to believing in a higher power or a maybe a
Yeah,
sentient higher power.
yeah.
Um,
There's people that will identify with what you're saying. Yeah, but at the same time, there's people that,
the higher power would be
yeah,
community, would be family, would be. But anyway, um, anybody of any faith whatsoever, I don't believe that you can practice your faith by yourself.
of course not.
Um, there are people who say I don't have to go to a church to pray. Of course you don't. But if you're going to practice some kind of spiritual discipline, some kind of spiritual way, some kind of spiritual religion, you have to be in community with people. And
Hmm.
I mean, people may debate it with me, but I have yet to be convinced that a wholesome spirituality can be accomplished by oneself. And that being said, that I'm not sharing what I'm sharing to dissuade anybody from associating with a church or some kind of organized religion. But I'm sharing it because I feel I want to share it. And that as I've indicated that African Methodism, a big portion of my spirit believes is a great faith and a great denomination that serves the Lord and the Scriptures well. But
Hmm.
at its present inception, I really view it as a mere extension of the Democratic Party. And
Hmm.
when I listen to different colleagues preach MSNBC talking points from the pulpit and encouraging their congregations to hate on Vladimir Putin, I really question the direction that the AME Church has gone.
Yeah.
One of the bishops now is a member of the Democratic National Committee. I mean, is he going to be there to speak truth to power, or is he there to further have political access? I
Hmm.
understand that political access is important uh, for the African American community, but is but I question at the expense of the ethics and the moral teachings of the scriptures. As question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have
And you
anything to
you
say?
you no, you actually bring up a good point, and I was gonna touch on the part about religion. And as somebody who is does not like religion, um I follow God, and I believe in God, and I would set his sacrifice for what he has done. And I agree with you about the religious organizations for me, right? I just can't. I can't follow that. I can't. I have. I absolutely not have not seen any man lead anybody in my years on this planet to the right in the right ways. There's always somebody of power using the power in the wrong way, demonstrating how to use power in the wrong way. Um, so I agree with the communion. I think that, like, for myself, it was more important is finding a church and a community within your area that you can just go in and talk to people and socialize with. Um, it doesn't have to be something where we have to, you know, bring our politics involved in anything, you know, it's not the place for that. What's the place is that we pass scriptures and we teach each other's lessons. And the best part about going to church is talking to somebody who have lived a longer life to me, and hearing their stories, hearing how they accomplish their goals, or change for the better for themselves and their family. That's the most impressive part about having a family in your area. And I definitely encourage anyone and everyone to find that.
So, yeah, I spoke to you yesterday saying that the news this past week
Oh, good Lord.
was just overwhelming. There's just
Yes.
so much going on.
I kind of
This
enjoy though.
just a follow up from last week where we focused on the threat to arrest Matt Taibbi. Um, that Elon Musk has cut Matt Taibbi loose when it comes to the Twitter files. They did not see eye to eye over Substack, and let me explain. Uh, Matt Taibbi publishes a lot of his columns on Substack and was publishing the Twitter files on Twitter because of the arrangement that he would have access to the documents, but he had to publish them on uh, Twitter. So apparently, Elon Musk wanted Matt Taibbi to quit Substack because Musk viewed Substack as a threat to Twitter, and wanted Taibbi to bring all his stuff over to Twitter, but that would be bringing his payment systems over to Twitter too. This is, Substack allows Matt Taibbi to, uh, charge a fee for his work. So Matt Taibbi's argument was that any perception that he was being paid by Twitter to publish the Twitter files would discredit the Twitter files, which
Hmm.
I think is a pretty sound and ethical argument.
No, it's a
Uh,
great
but,
argument. Hmm.
but Musk didn't see it that way. So Taibbi still has a trove of documents that he has plenty yet to report on. It's just that he's not going to get anything new going forward. Um, so I was very disappointed with Elon Musk. He rubbed me enough the wrong way. Pause. Um, for me to cancel my blue subscription. So the Village Idiot dash Rich is losing its check mark, and when the check mark disappears, I think I'm just going to go back to Rich Moran Jr. and the handle stays the same. That's at Rev Rich Moran Jr. So that's going to
Yeah.
stay the same. But I'm just, the title on the page will probably say Rich Moran Jr. or something like that. I'm getting rid of the Village Idiot.
Oh man, I'm gonna bring it back in a different way. We gotta go to TikTok now. We gotta bring the village idiot to the TikTok. I
Yeah,
think
well,
you
I
would
need
blow
to
it.
I need to get some clips on TikTok. I'm
You
working
you
on that.
you really do. We gotta bring the village idiot to TikTok. It's so funny because I'm just thinking to myself, so Elon just can't make friends and keep them. Like
No,
this is like this. Like, he basically told his friend, "You need to give me your Capri Sun." Give me a fucking Capri Sun, you bastard. He's like, I can't give you my Capri Sun. It's my Capri Sun. He's like, now I'm the only one you may be giving Capri Suns. Yo, Elon is a big baby. Like he is like falling into that Trump thing. And I don't know if it's because like people with money um are just like this, or maybe that's just the truth. But he you have one friend. He was making Twitter really popping and fun to be on. Um, and he taking it personal because of Substack. I mean, I don't understand. Like you, it's obvious when Elon responds like this. Like, I don't want competitors. It's so funny. It's just like, yeah, we're definitely not a democracy. We want like the we trying everybody. Every rich person is all trying to monopolize everywhere. They don't want no competitive, even though competitors are really good for them. They don't see it that way. They want to be the
Yeah, I
gods
mean, and
of their
Substack
world.
is one of the platforms that promises free speech.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've already seen that Musk, when he doesn't like something, uses the fact that Twitter is a private company to shut things down or to, shout over somebody else.
Hmm.
Uh, so, I mean, he can't provide right now. Presently, Musk can't provide what Substack is providing.
Yeah, because he's on it 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
writing like he's like it's his freaking diary. But then like he's just basically been throwing tantrums. I like
Yeah.
him, but he's
Well,
been
I
throwing like
prefer it this
actual
way
tantrums.
anyway. I
The
mean, I
tantrums?
prefer it. Well, as opposed to what it used to be.
Yeah, I can see what
I mean, like the
yeah,
Atlantic Council
yeah,
moderating content. You
yeah.
know,
I see what
uh,
you mean.
people like Harry Kissinger, people from foreign governments, the Saudis.
Hmm.
Deciding what's going to get censored and what's going to stay on.
Yeah. I see your
So
point.
we got to put up with this billionaire who's on the spectrum who acts like a baby from time to time. I mean,
He's
pick
definitely on the spectrum.
pick your poison. I'd rather deal with Elon Musk than to deal with the Atlantic Council, Saudi Arabia, all these spooks from the intelligence community. I, I mean, these are our choices now.
Yeah.
And
He's
Matt
off doing
Taibbi
his own
said he
thing.
was sad over it. He goes, I'm sad over it. I like Elon, you know.
Yeah.
So, there's something about, the interactions that Matt Taibbi, who I trust, uh,
Yeah.
to do good journalism, said I like the guy.
Elon is just a guy apparently that like when you have his friendship, you have to agree with everything he does. Friendship means agreeing, being agreeable,
I mean,
and supporting
I have
every
friends like
endeavor.
that, you know,
Ew.
fr- well, friends that
Ew.
are good at throwing their weight around. But it's a decision. You see the things that make them attractive as a friend,
Hmm.
and you recognize we all have downfalls. So do the positives overshadow the downfalls? I mean, it's a choice.
I get it, but the idea of somebody who's like, if me and you're doing business and you just say, Mo, I really don't agree with that business decision. I'm not going to be a part of that. I will not sit there and go, you don't want to give me $100 grand for investment. No, it's not. I don't know why I did that voice, but it's not that serious to me. It's like, okay, you decided now I have to find a different investor, or you don't want to work. I'll find somebody else. Maybe I'll give somebody else a good opportunity. But to throw away a friendship or a friendly situation, as even Mac says, he's sad about it. Annoys me. It just bothers me. I don't like people like that. It just disgusts me because if Elon really wants friends, he needs people around him that disagrees with him.
Yeah, I
Those are
wonder
your
how
best
many.
friends.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the black socialists that have been indicted for being conspirators with Russia.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of information on that, but Basically, what happened, the federal government has got an indictment against this socialist organization of
Mm.
African
Excuse me.
Americans who are socialists. They've been pretty much promoting the same ideas for decades. One of the people is 80 years old. The Fed showed up and raided their house. Um, and now they're, because they took money from somebody who was Russian. I don't know if they were part of the Russian government or not. It was, I guess, a few $100s, so they could go, they could travel in America and promote their ideas. They've been indicted for, I think, conspiring with a foreign government or something like that.
Of
So we're
course.
gonna, so we're gonna do things like this, and
Different people with different opinions arrested actually did no harm, just have different thoughts. We got to put them away. Wow, this sounds familiar. Like 10 years ago, being trans was evil and we should throw you away. But now that is legal and you're part of the Democratic Party, you are equals. Anybody else that don't have the same political views as us or subscribe shall stay locked up in prison because that is human rights.
that's great, man.
America.
That's perfect.
What happened?
That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect, and it fits on with the direction that we're going to go in just a little bit. Um. Mo, I do you have an opinion on Don Lemon getting fired?
Oh my God.
For those that don't know who Don Lemon is, Don Lemon was a news anchor with CNN. Used to be on night. He was moved to a morning spot with two other anchors, and now he is fired.
Listen, every negative thing his co-workers have said, like him saying that that the one lady, I don't know her name, uh she's like she was past her prime and all those comments of being upset. He it
Oh,
just sounds
that was
offish. I
Nikki
don't
Haley. That was Nikki Haley who's running for president. That
that he
Don
made the
Lemon
comment
said
towards.
that she was past her prime. She's in her 50s.
Oh.
I mean, come on.
You know, um she's dead already. She's dead already. Um
I mean, if
some
Nikki Haley is past her prime to run for president, what the heck is Biden? I mean,
he is he's degrading he's like falling and degrading into in front of us. That's what's
full
happening.
rot.
Every just full rot. Like he is like his skin is gonna peel right on the next time he's on camera. Mr. Lemon was he's a funny guy. He was recently starting to really speak up, and he does a well job of speaking up for the black community in the most basic terms, right? What's fair with dating. He talks about like some of the issues black men have been facing in our issues. So he's been touching on some really important subjects for men. He's been actually I'm gonna say a good thing and I'm gonna say a positive, but I gotta say my good thing first. I said a good thing and a positive, a good thing and a negative. Um, he's been doing a lot of speaking up for the black men, and I've been actually happy to hear it because he has a large platform, and he's been raising his voice, and he's saying, you know, as a gay man, he's actually saying things that like, hey, I notice these things and I don't even date you women. And you know, so you know, if I notice these things, there's a problem. Um, and I appreciate him, you know, trying to encourage our community coming together and see eye to eye as black people and seeing that things are not always as black and white and actually attacking statistics the correct way. Um, but the negative part, oh, before I get to that, I think he's gonna do great outside of CNN. I think we're gonna get a very interest in Dom Lennon, and I think he's one of those men that I think that is going to, if he plays his cards right, truly does, truly does, he can be a powerhouse for whatever sect. Like if he stays to black values, continue to do black values, um, pointing out, he has skills that's necessary that can be used well, and he's a well spoken man. Um, if he plays his cards right and choose carefully where he wants to go, he can really help the narrative and help the black community start taking accountability. No,
I
no,
just found him to
he's
be unlikable. Um, and during one of the correspondence dinner, he was the subject of one of the comedian's joke, and he gave the comedian the finger. Um, that said to me that he had very thin skin, and then I read an
he's a
article
gay
about
black man.
yeah, I read an article about some advances that he made to a waiter. I think it was a waiter, and when the waiter wasn't interested, he got quite upset that the waiter didn't really know who he was. I mean, that could be true or not,
Like
but
everybody else with millions of dollars on TV, he got
yeah,
offended. I mean, gay, straight, lesbian,
you
Ellen
know the one
Durant. Like we, like
I would,
I don't think.
um, but during the Ferguson protests, he like transformed into this hysterical mother hen,
Yeah,
and was kind of squealing at the female reporter that was on the ground to get out of there and to keep herself safe. And she was looking into the camera like, what is the matter with you? I'm a reporter. I'm reporting the story. I'm not going anywhere. Which may
yeah.
be, maybe some of that misogynism he's accused of at work. Uh,
Can gay men be misogynist?
yeah, well, it depends on what you say and how you treat women. Yeah, you
uh,
know, I mean, a gay man can just as easily say to a woman as a straight man, get yourself in the kitchen.
I know it sounds. I know it sounds like ridiculous to ask that question. I get some people like, why the hell would you? Of course, listen. There's
Well,
nobody that's not gonna get
well,
a quick wick.
I'm glad that you shared the perspective that you shared while you were just saying how you articulated black issues, especially for black men. I was saying to myself, well, I'm glad that we have a well-rounded critique of Don Lemon because I've never really cared for him that much. So what else was in the news? Well, at least was on the news that I listened to is that the Russians have now created what is called a full cauldron around Bakhmut, meaning that the Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut are fully surrounded with no way to get out. And if you haven't been following the war in Ukraine, that there's been a lot of fighting at this town called Bakhmut for a long time, and probably will continue to be a lot of fighting at for quite a long time throughout the winter. That location was called a meat grinder, and from the people that I listen to, mainly from the Duran that report on the war, most of the meat that was being ground, which is a term from the West, not from the Russians, um, were Ukrainian soldiers, and so uh, there are still people talking that it's likely that this war is going to go on for another year at least before it's over. But the Russians continue to make gains, and for those that believe the mainstream media that the Russian army, is disorganized, that the leadership doesn't know what it's doing. If you want to believe that stuff, then go ahead. There are some serious independent journalists that you can listen to that um, will report the work of people on the ground, that will report
Mm-hmm.
Ukrainian and Russian sources, some mainstream sources, and that they explain their reasoning as to why they think something is credible or not credible, or could be true or not true. And I would just say from my experience that these people have been accurate, because every so often the mainstream media, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, catches up and starts reporting some of the narratives that had been reported 2 months before, a month before, 2 weeks before. They come at certain intervals admitting what seems to be the truth on the ground.
Hmm.
So the Ukrainians as of now are exhausted. um they Their numbers are dwindling quickly. It's been reported that they're out of ammunition. So we'll see what happens. And that's my response to those people that call me a conspiracy theorist, is that we'll see what happens.
What's gonna happen is that you're going to be coming back to this channel and being like, oh, he knows things that I don't know, and now you're gonna be subscribing and liking and then following us, right? Because we're gonna be right. And what's more important is that, like, if you're gonna watch, what's that channel that that just lost money, 7.5 million. They just tell the truth everywhere you go. Uh, I think it has a related name to an animal. Man, what is that? Three letters. Oh, fucking Fox.
Well, that's where I wanted to land. The firing of Tucker Carlson. Huge.
Huge news. Big news. Big news.
Um, it's really bad news, regardless of all the so-called liberal people in my life that are just as happy as clams. It's really bad news. He was the only person in mainstream that was allowing dissenting voices on the air.
Yeah. Even though he's a lying piece of crap publicly.
Now, why do you say that?
Because he was the one also reporting the Dominion things. He was also defending the Trump administration when they were saying, "Oh, voting." Him and
So,
a lot of his colleagues were
so
sitting
Glenn
there.
Greenwald the other night played a clip of him questioning that narrative on the air.
Did he? Which part?
Yeah.
Where's this before? After a few months?
Well, it was at the time when people were questioning the election.
Right after the 2020 election, Donald Trump was telling his followers that the voting machines were manipulated for fraud. And Tucker Carlson wanted to know whether it was true. He wasn't willing to affirm it just because he knows his audience wanted to hear it. So he was trying to get Sidney Powell, the leading proponent of this view, to come on his show and present her evidence. He was open-minded. He kept saying, let me see the evidence. And she refused to come on his program, refused to present her evidence in any forum, and so he went on the air and said the opposite of what 95% of American liberals believe he said. He told his audience that there's no evidence that's been presented for this, and until there is, nobody should believe it. Listen to him do this on November 19, 2020.
Story. But she never sent us any evidence, despite a lot of requests, polite requests, not a page. When we kept pressing, she got angry and told us to stop contacting her. When we checked with others around the Trump campaign, people in positions of authority, they told us Powell has never given them any evidence either, nor did she provide any today at the press conference. Powell did say that electronic voting is dangerous, and she's right. We're with her there. But she never demonstrated that a single actual vote was moved illegitimately by software from one candidate to another. Not one. So why are we telling you this? We're telling you this because it's true.
Yeah. But what
So,
happened when
I
but what
haven't
happened?
I haven't delved into the Dominion, so I don't know. But
My thing with him is why, you know, whether it's a power trip from Fox where they're like, look, you can have your opinions on some things, but on other things you can't. When they recover those text messages and publicly oh, Trump, 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 and then secretly he's like, I hate this idiot. You know, it's disturbing. It's disturbing as as a watcher to see a reporter, somebody that's supposed to be honorable and just fair, have to play just be clearly paid by the system. His wishy-washy, I'm not on Trump's side, I'm on Trump's side, and da 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 da. It's just a job to me, so I'm gonna say whatever I say on air, but privately, I don't like this man. I have a problem with that. I do not need my anchorman, reporters, journalists. I don't need you flip-flopping.
okay.
Don't flip-flop. Not in these fields. Says in cops too. I don't need a cop flip-flopping. I don't think I want to save your life today.
All right, I have to
Like,
look into it more. I prefer him on the air, to be honest with you.
you really?
Yeah.
It's what you should be happy is that Fox lost so much viewers. Oh my God, so much viewers.
Yeah.
So much viewers. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
And what
We're
I
talking.
said to somebody this week is that be it from me to defend Tucker Carlson, because I've disliked him for years.
Mhm.
But the fact that he was platforming Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore and Tulsi
I like that.
Gabbard and Aaron Matei, he was having voices that he disagreed with to a certain extent on his show and letting them talk.
My
And
problem is I don't even know if he disagreed with them.
well, he agreed on their anti-war stance. I know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nobody else. There's nobody else in mainstream media that are going to let independent journalists on.
Yeah. And it's
There's
because
no
he
one
got the
else.
viewerships that he was able to negotiate having these people on. And that's fantastic. But
More
what somebody
Democrats
like Tucker,
were watching Tucker than I think we're watching like MSNBC.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna go looking at those numbers. I love that. The fact that they're Democrats just sitting there hating him. That's fantastic. He's doing a good job. And you know where else he's gonna do a good job in? Off the mainstream. See, the one thing, I'm not happy that Tucker lost his job for some like, oh, Tucker's a bad person. No, Tucker's like Don Lemon. He's a smart guy, intelligent guy who played the game of the mainstream corporate phenomenal, right? They played the game, they got to where they got, they did the thing. But you know what's fun about what's happening in the new generation of tech is we don't need big corporations no more. Just having the fan base and the ability to be well spoken and well liked will make you that money and more. Take Christabel and Sager, for example. So you know when it's going to be fun to watch Tucker? When he's not being paid by Fox and mainstream media.
Well, you got a point. Because Glenn
If he
Greenwald
can
points
go,
out. Go ahead.
yeah, because if he can sit back and he could pull himself away from the mainstream and says, you know what, I got a few mil, I'm good. Maybe I should start my own story. Maybe I can go work with somebody that I can actually finally speak my truth.
Well, Glenn Greenwald,
If that,
who was one of the
continue.
founders of The Intercept, he was trying to report on the Hunter Biden laptop. They told him he couldn't, and he quit The Intercept. Now, here's a man who had a big following. He broke the Snowden story. When he went completely independent, his numbers exploded.
Tucker, believe it or not, I say it. I can dislike somebody's actions and I get business and I'm not stupid. I know how business works. I know how corporation works. I know how money works. And when you sell your soul to try to be in the air, to make an influence, bad things happen. But now that the devil got rid of you, So how you gonna get your revenge, Tucker? Tucker, how you gonna get your Tucker? Look at me, Tucker. Tucker, look at me. Look at me. Tucker, how are you gonna get your revenge? What are we gonna do to them? What are we
All
gonna do to
right,
them?
all right. We're approaching the hour, and there's
Tucker,
still more to do. Um,
Tucker,
so let us
let's burn it down to the ground. Don
go
Lemon, let's burn it
to
down to the ground.
a book that we haven't referred to in a long time, entitled tsAndGigles, the ultimate bathroom joke book. That we've been really heavy on the politics lately, and I thought that we would end with something funny. Are you ready, Mo?
I'm ready.
So this is called Terrible Ways to Break Up with Someone. Terrible ways to break up with someone. Spray it's over with weed killer on their front lawn
Wow,
in the middle of
that's
the green
harsh.
lawn.
That's
It is
good though.
harsh. It is good. This I love this one. I don't know if you'll get it. Make Delilah do it.
Oh yes, yes. Farewell, Delilah. Yep.
You know who Delilah is?
Well, I know the song. Is there another name? Is
No,
there another?
there's a woman. Her name is Delilah. She has this show, and she reads you like all these emotional and sappy, uh, you know, wishes of love and affection, and she plays music
I'm,
for people.
I never knew this.
It's
I thought it
actually
was just part.
people make fun of Delilah, but I actually feel good when I listen to her. And I don't
She's
listen
made
to
for
her
you.
often, but I probably should listen to her more.
Hmm.
But Delilah would normally like play a song for somebody's anniversary and celebrate a relationship. She doesn't do breakups. So I thought that was kind of funny.
That's funny.
All
Okay.
right. So for those that knew it, I hope you found it. Okay. All right.
Um,
Terrible ways to break up with someone. During your Oscar acceptance speech.
that'd be great. Will Smith should do it.
Um,
Last time I last time I was here, last time I got a reward, I smacked the man. This time I'm asking for a divorce.
Terrible ways to break up with someone. Fake your own death.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, that was my thought when I was like 13. I was like, if I really hate a woman, I'm definitely faking my death. I knew that at 12, 13 years old.
That's something
Got a
Gritty would
plan
do,
too.
so he wouldn't have to actually face the person and break up with him.
Yo, that's so true. He would do that in a heartbeat. He would be out. He would deliver us little flip phones for emergencies. Like, don't ever call me on your regular phone.
So this one's a little vile. Use their toilet, don't flush it, and leave a card on the seat that said, "This is what I'm doing to you." It is kind of
That's
funny.
great. That's great. I had to view it. I had to picture it, sadly, but
All
it was
right.
great.
All right. Terrible ways to break up with someone. Write a book and tell them in the dedication.
That's a great way. That's a great way.
It's a
You
lot
just
of
have to make
effort.
there's a lot of effort. You just have to make sure that they had no rights to credits. I
uh,
can't do that. Jasmine is literally going to be my editor.
okay. All right. Terrible ways to break up with someone. Hire a barbershop quartet and break it to them in the song.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's great. I see a bunch of black men singing. like 112.
So terrible ways to break up with someone during sex.
Yeah, that's pretty mean. That's not horrible. That's just rude.
That's pretty mean. How about at their parents' house on Thanksgiving?
Wow. You did it because you hate the entire family.
Yeah,
You
that
had to hate the
probably,
father.
yeah.
You had to hate the entire family. They must have gave you such a hard time for those 3 years. You must have just hated them. He was like, you know what? I could kill you all, but I don't want to go to prison. This is the next best thing. Makes sense to me.
Terrible
Should have
ways
did
to
that.
break up with someone. Give them a scrapbook album filled with all of your worst moments together.
Would we be better? Is all the pictures you secretly took with your new girl.
Oh man, that is mean. Terrible ways to break up with someone. Tell them a knock knock joke. Knock knock. Who's there? Us. Us who? Us is through. Get out.
So I'm assuming you're the one that owns the house. Good.
Apparently, yeah. Yeah. Terrible ways to break up with somebody. Order a cake and have them write "we're done" on top in icing.
It's all right.
All right. Yeah.
Very 21-year-old, 18, 16-year-old. Yeah.
How about on a
Not really.
Valentine?
Eh. Nah, that's
How,
not good enough either.
how about have a skywriter?
That's funny because you would have to pay a lot of money.
Well,
I could just see that in the hood. Well, just have a plane flying in the project. Hey, are we done, shorty? Hey, yo, your man broke it with you, man. Disrespectful. I would get so many laughs at it. Yo, you just, you don't want to be that girl or guy in New York City.
Terrible ways to break up with somebody. Go to a sporting event, hold up a sign on the Jumbotron that says, "I'm leaving you."
That's great. That's great. Because first of all, you got money, right? You got
Mhm.
money and time to do that. So that means you got somebody in the background. So you might as well leave.
And the last one, give them a t-shirt printed with the message, "I'm single and I'm ready to mingle."
So white.
We end the episode the same way every time, with a prayer. Father God, I just want to say thank you for Mo. Thank you for the opportunity to come together and to do this podcast. Now, Lord, I lift a prayer for myself that, God, I ask that you be with me over the next 2 weeks as I make transition from the AME Church to the Catholic Church of North America. And that, God, I ask that you be with all the people that I was ministering to, all the people that I will minister in the future. And that, Lord, I just lift up a prayer of thanks for all the people that did support me within the AME Church. That, Lord, I know that when Jesus comes back, that he is prepared to meet his bride, the church, without blemish, and that we have a long way to go. So I ask that you be with each and every one of us that believes in you, guide our steps, and that, Lord, may we live like as much as we can, may we live like Jesus Christ himself. And I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Good night.
Good night.